Hi, today I'm going to give a review of my new 15-inch Powermatic PM1500 bandsaw. So I've had a Delta 14-inch bandsaw for ages now, and I've been in the market recently to upgrade. I wanted to get a bandsaw that would last me the rest of my woodworking days. Something comparable to my Unisaw or my 8-inch joiner, beefy piece of equipment that would be a pleasure to use. So I was realistically I was going to be looking at 18-inch bandsaws, and in that time frame when I was kind of starting to think about that, Powermatic came out with this bandsaw. And everything I saw on the internet impressed me. It was looked like it was really built to last. It wasn't too large. So I was, starting to look in this direction, but it was pretty hard to find one of these. I'm in the Los Angeles area, and there's not a. Well, I couldn't find any dealers that actually had them in stock except for one, Eagle Tools, and they sell a lot of bandsaws, and he happened to have this one in stock. So I went down to check it out and talk to him and look it over, and I was, well, here it is. I was impressed with it. Now I'm going to go over all the different pieces of this in a fair amount of detail. But before that, I just want to comment on some of the negative comments that I've seen on the internet. And I think they've all been made by people who actually have never seen one. It's just some people commented on, hey, have you heard about the new Powermatic 15-inch bandsaw? And generally the comments were pretty negative. They're pretty down on them, and because of two factors. They're looking at the cost, and then they're looking at 15-inch. Now, I paid a bit north of $3,000 for this. That's a lot of money. That's definitely one of my more expensive power tools that I've ever purchased, right up there with the table saw. And it's a 15-inch bandsaw. Now you can buy a 14-inch bandsaw for much less than a third of that. So they see $3,000 thereabouts, 15-inch bandsaw, and they're kind of thinking in their mind, comparing to, well, it's pretty much like a 14-inch bandsaw. What's Powermatic thinking, charging that kind of money? I'm going to change camera views right now because I still have my 14-inch bandsaw. So I want to show you what these two together, and then you'll probably be able to appreciate more the where your 3 times the cost is going. So let me change cameras right now. All right, well, here they are together, and so that's a 14-inch. That's the enclosed base model, 1 horsepower, and so 14-inch, 15-inch. So you can see there's a substantial difference between these two bandsaws. It's just it's really night and day. Everything about that. I mean, I thought the Delta was a nice bandsaw, for what it was, but when you compare everything, all the features on this compared to that just comes across as a toy. Everything is just totally flimsy compared to this. I mean, this bandsaw is built like a tank. 14-inch resaw capability versus 6 on that. Yes, I know you can buy a riser to increase that capacity, but it just really doesn't compare. Okay, so we'll get that 14-inch out of the picture now and focus back on this guy. All right, well, let's talk a bit about some of the features. First thing you'll notice is the fence on this. This is well, I haven't done an extensive review of all bandsaws, but this strikes me as one of the more robust fences that you'll find on a stock bandsaw. It's really a miniature version of what they put on their table saws. And I have a unisaw and I have a unifence on there, and that has some adjustments that allow you to adjust the fence to 90 degrees to the table and parallel to the miter gauge. This has those same kind of adjustments. Now first I thought I'd show this fence in the position that you normally don't see. They mention that it can be rotated down, but there's two positions the fence can be put in. It slides off. I'll do that in a moment here, but this can slide off and rotate up to be a tall fence. But what's cool about in this position is that you can bring it real close to the blade if you have some half-inch stock that you're cutting and laying flat. And again, it's always good to have the blade guard as close to the surface of the wood as possible. Now with your more traditional fence, which is higher, you could only get up to about here. So if you have narrow stock that you're cutting, you really can't. You have to improvise to get your fence here. But this, put it down, you can get it right up to the fence, and you get the blade guides really close, and it's nice. Now I'll just loosen these up, show you how easy it is to switch. And that's about it. Pretty easy to adjust, and you can keep it so it's not actually touching your table here. I have it fairly high. This fence rests. There's a nylon pad on the back, so at no point is metal scraping on your table. And it's your kind of your typical fence that you find on table saws nowadays. Just locks down, and it's not going to move. This is a really stout fence. I love it. Everything about it. It's attached with 1/4-inch steel angle iron. This is a piece of 1/8-inch angle iron. This tube is 16th-inch thick. I don't know what the gauge is, but 16th-inch tubing. Everything is adjustable. Now, as it came from the factory, the calibration of this ruler here was off by over 1/4 of an inch, and this piece here that you can adjust back and forth didn't have that much adjustment, so I had to loosen up. There's 3 bolts down here with slotted holes, so I was able to move the whole fence to calibrate it. To be honest, I never really used a ruler such as this with my previous bandsaw. I don't know if I'll really make use of that here. I don't know. It maybe seems a little overkill for me, but if you do use it, it's nice. It has a nice magnifying view, so I guess if everything's accurate, you can just dial it right in to the exact width of your cut. It has two large nylon set screws here to adjust the tilt of the fence. So it's real quick to get this 90 degrees to the top. And then there's two set screws in the back here, and that allows you to adjust the fence parallel with the miter gauge. As I received it, this was off by about 5/1000 of an inch from front to back relative to the miter gauge. And it just took me a couple minutes to dial it into less than a thousandths, which, you know, is probably overkill for a bandsaw anyway. So I love this this fence. It's really nice. One of the negatives, talk about fit and finish for this. The fit and finish is beautiful, I think, for this. And this is my first Powermatic tool, so I don't know if they're all built like this. From looking at the literature, it kind of looks like they probably all are. But it's nice. I mean, the design, you know, it's got more curves. It certainly doesn't look as blocky as most of your large bandsaws. The front covers here have a nice gentle curve to them. Their nameplate, real beefy nameplate, is cut to just perfectly fit the curve. You know, those are all details that you know, cost money, and you know, I guess that's part of the $3,000 cost is you're getting details like that. But it really doesn't. They did not skimp or cheap out on this, except for a couple things I'll mention. But by and large, everything they did with this is overkill. It's really it's overbuilt. So I can this fence is just overbuilt. Most of the adjustments have chrome wheels. It has it's a 3 horsepower motor with magnetic switch, which I thought was nice. Not all 220 equipment comes with magnetic switches, but this does, and I like it. Has this magnetic safety switch. It pops out, but, well, I'll never be using it as a safety switch, but I guess if you need such a thing, that's kind of nice. So you can take that out and you can't use it. Let's see. It has a view here into your blade tensioning. I think this is kind of it's not bad that they have it, but I'm not sure there's much practical use to having this, because frankly, when you're changing the blade, that's when you're going to be adjusting the tension, and this is the tension adjustment right here. It's pretty easy to adjust it when at this stage. I don't foresee myself adjusting the tension with the door closed, or that's very inconvenient to have to open up the door. Let's see. So it has a foot brake, and that also kills the power for the saw. Actually, I kind of like that for killing the power. It seems somehow a little more convenient. You just tap it and it turns it off. And of course, if you press it, you can stop the blade. But as I mentioned in the manual, and it just makes sense, if you use that a lot to stop the blade, you're gonna wear away the brake material. I'm not sure what they have. Something that's obviously rubbing against the shaft, and that's what's slowing it down. that's really just, in my mind, a safety feature. If you get in some kind of trouble, you need to stop that blade quick, you just stop on it. So again, the nice chrome mechanism here. The wheels are really beefy. Again, I don't see any evidence where they really skimped inside. You know, 5/8 inch thick steel shafts with a really beefy spring holds this upper wheel and allows you to adjust the tension. It has a safety switch up here so that if you right now the tension is disengaged and you can't start the bandsaw in this mode, you have to raise this all the way up, and in this position it engages relay and allows power to the motor. But again, this relay looks nice and beefy. The cable, the connections to it are really nice. Everything inside is the fit and finish, the welds, the paint. You're not disappointed that you spent your money with this bandsaw. All right, here's a view inside. Again, same beefy wheel. It's got a really nice nice belt that to the motor. Again, the wiring is in a protective sleeve. They have your brush for the wheel and a brush here that the blade goes through. There's not much to see inside, except here's the dust collection, and which seems, the dust collection seems fair down here, but to be honest, I'm not. That's maybe one of the negatives with this, but I think it's kind of a negative with most bandsaws is their dust collection. The dust collection in this chamber is okay, but this has two ports, two 4-inch ports, one here and one up here. So the 4-inch port gets cut by probably a third of it's lost by this angle here, metal, and then so yeah, it captures, I guess, the dust right here, but there's effectively zero, I would say close to zero suction above this point. So you got a hole here, and you got all this empty space, and there's zero airflow above the table saw, above the table here. I guess I had hopes that with this nice big bandsaw with dual dust collection ports that I was going to get some good dust collection, but nah. I mean, inside it's good, but you still get a lot of dust on top of the table, that's for sure. My solution is just to hook up a shop vac and just put the end of the hose near the blade at the top, and that captures most of the sawdust. So that's what I'll be doing. Well, I just wanted to give a little tighter view so you could see more what I was talking about in terms of this upper part of the dust collection, and how you can see that there's this big gap between here and the tabletop, and of course you only have a slit up here, so there's really no, I don't see how any bandsaw could have effective dust collection given this basic design. But you can also see the nice beefy guide bearings that they have, and then this bearing in the back, the thrust bearing, has a slot in it, and that provides more more support for the blade, as you know, versus some bearings which are on the side that the blade runs up against. So I like that design, and I'll give you a better view of that up at the top guide assembly. But the trunnions under here that hold the table, they're all nice and beefy. Here is a view on the side, and you can see some of the controls in the back. Again, nice beefy chrome wheels everywhere. This detensioning handle is great, really beefy. This is in full tension, and again, you have to be in this mode to be able to start the saw, but when you're done, you just down and you're detensioned, and you can go back further, and that's for removing the blade. So I just normally leave it about there. Again, here's the tensioning. Just loosen this handle. You loosen this, and then you can adjust the tracking for your blade, and then when you get the tracking good, you just tighten that down. They have a viewport up here that you can see the blade against the tire that's on the wheel. They have a bright yellow tire, so it's very easy to see the blade. That's nice. And the tire they have on these wheels is it's pretty beefy. It looks like a real good heavy 1/16 of an inch at least thick tire. To adjust your guidepost, just loosen this up, and it's very easy to adjust this. I'm not even sure you really ever need to actually tighten this down, but that's it in the back here. Let me zoom in on the guidepost assembly. Here is a close-up of the guide assembly. There's not too much to show here, but I just thought I'd give you a close-up view. These are so you would loosen up this knob to adjust the placement of the guide bearings relative to the front of the teeth, and then this knob in the front, you can loosen that and then adjust how much pressure or how much space there is between the bearing and your blade. So everything is toolless support. This the thrust bearing, which is the same as the one on the bottom, has a groove in it, so the blade fits within there. That was the only difficult adjustment I had to make on the bandsaw. That the way it came delivered, the blade was rubbing against the side of this groove. So even though the blade wasn't being pressed up against the bearing, if you turned the blade, this would move. So I had to loosen this up, take this out. I had to take the blade out to be able to take this off, and then there's a set screw, and you loosen that up, and I was able to adjust the position of the bearing. That was only the only adjustment I had to make on the bandsaw that took any amount of time to get everything just right. So again, everything's adjusted with these large thumb screws. I wanted to show you a view of the 3 horsepower motor that is provided. Again, nice controls. I had the plug isn't very long. Looks like it might be 6 feet long. I had to where I was going to put this anyway, I knew I was going to have to build an extension cord. I have lots of 220 outlets in the shop, but none close to where I was going to be keeping this. So yeah, I spent about $40 to build myself a nice heavy-duty extension cord. Got some power cable, so it's this real soft, flexible cable, and then I'd buy a nice plug and receptacle. So it all added up, and I got a nice extension cord. Anyway, here there's not too much to see, but I did want to point out again, they have here it's got a ratcheting knob that you can loosen up, and then to adjust the tension on the belt. And again, they provide this nice beefy chrome handle to hold on to. It's a nice touch. And this is where I have my dust collection coming in. Now I know I have one 4-inch hose attaching to this T, which then feeds the top and the bottom. So I know obviously I'm cutting down my airflow. But again, I really don't think you could put as much airflow as you wanted into this top part, and you're not going to get any airflow above the table. But anyway, yeah, I had to supply this part, and that's it for the back. I wanted to get a little view of the underside of the table, and I guess discuss the one major disappointment. Not a major disappointment. I guess major in that it's really just about the only disappointment with this. You see chrome all over the place. They have chrome handles, knobs everywhere, except for here, where this is again one of these ratcheting handles to loosen up. So you can loosen up the table and then turn this knob to adjust the angle of the table to the blade. So this is plastic. The knob is plastic. They have identical one of these down where I just showed that shot of the belt tensioning knob, where you have to loosen it up. That uses one of these, plastic. And then the handle that you have to loosen to adjust the tracking mechanism on the blade is plastic. So they use chrome everywhere, but here they use plastic, and they don't use the nice plastic. The nice plastic is that engineered plastic that's resin. I don't know how they make it, but I'm sure you've all probably have some tools, something that has these engineered plastics. They're really tough, and you have no sense that they're going to break. This is not that engineered plastic. It's a cheap plastic. You can see it flex when you apply pressure. In any kind of an industrial setting, these things would, I know they would snap within a few days of use probably. My shop, I take good care of my equipment. I don't think they were going to break, but why did they cheap out with at least go with engineering plastic? But considering where they obviously decided to spend money on chrome wheels and handles and knobs everywhere, yet not here. I can only surmise that you can't buy these chrome, but I bet you can buy nice metal ones or higher quality plastic. I know you can buy higher quality plastic. I've bought them for my some shop jigs. So that's really the only big disappointment I have with this whole. All right, well, I wanted to close up with a summary of a few more odds and ends here. Another negative is this metal tape rule that gets applied. Apparently the instructions at the factory say to take the metal strip and eyeball it and stick it down on the metal. And whoever did this one wasn't very good at eyeballing it. You know, the fit and finish on this thing is great, but here it's not so good. At this point, you're about a 1/16 of an inch farther in from the front than you are here. It's enough that you can notice that it's not parallel with the fence. Does it affect the accuracy? Doubtful. And like I say, historically I don't really use the built-in ruler on my other bandsaw, but I guess it's only fit and finish thing. I really didn't. It really bothered me a little bit. The table pin has a cable which prevents it, you know, from losing. That's kind of nice. But whoever installed the cable into the pin, just again, it must be just random. They take these out of the bin, and then they put the cable through whichever direction they happen to be holding the piece. Well, in this case, clearly, if you were thinking about it, you would have put the cable in this way, so the loop would be on this side. So as it is, it fits, but it makes it kind of a tight fit. So that's a negative. They provided some little wrenches and a handful of Allen wrenches. Some of them fit, but for instance, there's two of these large nylon set screws on the top and on the back for adjusting your fence. They didn't provide Allen wrenches for those. I happen to have some, but that's kind of odd. It's always kind of funny. Seems for a lot of machines you tend to get a bag with odds and ends. There'll be some Allen wrenches in there, some other little wrenches maybe, and nowhere in the manual do they talk about what some of these wrenches might be used for. And in this case, maybe they just say, here, stick your hand in that box and pull out some Allen wrenches and throw them in the bag. It's not quite that bad, but again, they miss some sizes that you need to adjust this. And I did talk about the miter gauge. They do provide I would say a standard miter gauge. It's nice for what it is. It's beefy. It's got a nice, comfortable handle. It fits this is a T-slot miter slot. So it's got the matching bar, and then it has two set screws that you adjust, and that applies varying pressure to push out the sides of the bar. So you adjust that to zero out the play. It's effective, and so I was able to get it so essentially has no play. I generally don't like those type though, because they only provide 2 points of pressure against the miter slot walls, and so I guess it doesn't provide the smoothest action. These type. I prefer the type to have multiple set screws in the side, made from some kind of a plastic or graphite material, and I think they have a smoother action. But for what it is, it's definitely nice. Again, I could use this on my table saw. It's nice and beefy. So, and I guess I should probably turn this on at least once to show you. I'll let you. Not much to see, but you can hear how it sounds. got a nice smooth action. Very little vibration. And again, I'll stop it quickly with the brake. So again, I generally won't be doing that often. So in summary, I really like this bandsaw. It's got just a few negatives, but I don't think they're negatives where it really counts, and that's all the mechanics of this table saw. Again, everything is really overbuilt, smooth operating. By and large, I like most of the details of the chrome wheels. Everything seems very serviceable. If I need to take it apart in varying degrees down the road. So if you're looking for an overbuilt, compact bandsaw with large resaw capacity, I think this is the bandsaw to get. Thanks for stopping by.